gimbal today. I didn't bring it, and we'll just leave it at that. What I wanted to show you what was going on here.
Yeah, it's hiding the face.
Like I didn't recognize most of the people who were there. I'm like,
Sorry for the instability.
And then it's like there's 5 people after the city council. It's fair to all the other organizations.
When it comes to Googling
Great support of great advocacy organizations. There still is all. It just seems like
One of the signs.
Sorry about the instability. No gimbal. But I wanted to get this anyway. Even if it's just for me. It's Saturday the 18th of January 2024, about noon, 40 degrees or so.
yes. So how do you and this is
Yeah. Legacy media, as they call it, is here.
yeah, and so yeah, so it's a lot different than
Sorry for the wobblies. If we figure out, I think it's going to be here where people speak. Oh, there's a stage. Let's go up here. So when they speak. I have to come and say I love your sign. I'm not a big fan of Elon right now.
Yeah, burn those Teslas.
Right. This evening it's going to rain. Sunday it's going to snow anywhere from 5 to 10 inches. So today was the day to get hair. Plus, if you're a subscriber, which I hope all of you are after this, you know that I have some foot problems, which limit how much of this I can do. But I'm having surgery Tuesday, so. But I have plenty of stuff to post still. And it's a crappy winter, so it's not as much fun to go out. Anyway, lots of people. Crowd's getting bigger. Oh, we're right in front of the speakers. I might not want to do that. Quite that. But just go over here. And that way we can.
good meeting with Mel. And they're gonna be putting on a statement eventually. If we want to sign that state like the state like Handheld continues there. But then Joe's like, no, this is
Just kind of look around until they start.
Facebook doesn't distract you.
Good morning, fellow warriors for justice!
Yay!
Oh, it's a beautiful day to smash the patriarchy, don't we all agree? Let me hear it!
Yeah!
Hello! We have people here from all over Massachusetts, from the Berkshires all the way to Boston, okay? The sun is shining on us today, right? And can you even believe that in 1773, over there in the harbor, wherever it is, tea was being spilled, and we are about to spill the tea today, okay?
Yeah!
We can all just take a moment and look around at all of these beautiful, strong humans standing together. Yes, we are going to be swiping right tonight. You are here. We are here. And together we are a force to be reckoned with. I'm Cassie Christant. I'm going to be your MC today, and I stand here not just as your MC, but as someone who represents a delightfully chaotic intersection of identities. I'm a queer woman raising 3 beautiful kids in a heteronormative marriage, and I am breaking up sibling fights, breaking down barriers, and breaking up stereotypes all before school drop-off. All right? We're here. As the co-chair of Berkshire Pride and the chapter director and founder of Drag Story Hour Berkshires, I've seen how powerful storytelling can be. Not just for entertaining kids in sparkly outfits, which I do very well, but for sparking change and building bridges in our communities. With over 20 years as an educator, I've had the privilege of teaching and empowering people across the country, from California to Illinois, and now here today in Massachusetts. My journeys included drag, cabaret, musical theater, voiceover, film, TV. Basically, if it involves a microphone and a glitter, I am there, and I am in. But these diverse experiences have shaped me into a fierce advocate for creativity, inclusivity, and the power of art to bring people together. Thank you. And today is about action, and it's about stories. Throughout this event, you're going to hear from some of the most courageous and powerful change makers in our community. Voices that will challenge, voices that will inspire and ignite something in each and every one of us. May their words spark action, not just in this moment, but in every moment that follows. This march, this rally, this gathering is a chapter in a bigger, bolder narrative. A narrative of resistance, resilience, and radical love. It's a story that says we won't stand for injustice, and we certainly won't sit down and be quiet about it. Our statement of values today is simple, and I'm going to put on my teacher voice here. I want to do a little bit of call and repeat. Reproductive right is a human right. Equality is not negotiable. Democracy is something we build together. This isn't just a march, it's a movement.
It's a movement.
Thank you. A reminder to those in power that we will not back down until every person has the dignity, the freedom, and the support that they deserve.
Yeah!
So, whether you're here as a first-time marcher, whether you're here as a seasoned activist, whether you're carrying a clever sign, and I have seen some real good signs today already, you may have a heavy heart, or both, and that's okay, because you belong here. Your voice matters, and together we are unstoppable.
Yeah!
So today, let's march with purpose, with passion, and with the unshakable belief that change is not just possible, it's inevitable when we rise together. And today we will be making history. And just a note, we have my friend Diane here, who is our safety marshal in the beautiful electric vest. If you see someone in this electric vest, if you need help, you can come to them and they will keep us safe. And come help. Diane needs some help. So if you'd like to be a helper, come and help. And another thing to note, it's important to remember that today is about the right to exercise free speech. We may encounter some people with opposing opinions here that have the right to exercise the same. To bring any risky situations to Diane and our event marshals today.
There we go. Trying again.
We're all in this together.
Yay!
If there are any risky situations or concern, please bring it to Diane. If you'd like to help Diane, come on up and help Diane. But first, I would like to pass the mic to someone very important. Mary Rose Mazzola is the Chief External Affairs Officer for Planned Parenthood League of Massachusetts. PPLM is the largest provider of sexual and reproductive health care and sex education in Massachusetts. Their mission is to ensure every person in the state has access to compassionate, affordable, inclusive sexual and reproductive health care, no matter who they are, where they live, or who they love. Let's please welcome Mary Rose to the stage. How we doing, Boston? Thank you so much for being here today and for having me. I am proud to share the stage with two of Planned Parenthood's partners in the movement to protect and expand reproductive rights and health care. The ACLU of Massachusetts, give it up! And Reproductive Equity Now. When Roe v. Wade was overturned 2 years ago, our three organizations jumped into action, working with state lawmakers and patient advocates to strengthen protections for abortion, contraception, and gender-affirming care. This care is legal in Massachusetts, and providers of this care are protected. Our message back then was pretty clear. Reproductive freedom is a Massachusetts value. Keep your bands off our bodies. Now, with an incoming administration that is hostile to reproductive rights, that stokes fear and lies about queer and trans communities, and that has consistently talked about defunding Planned Parenthood, we're sending another message. We are not going anywhere. When the election was called for Trump on November 6th, Planned Parenthood health centers nationwide saw a 1,200% increase in vasectomy appointments and a 760% increase in IUD appointments. Clearly, people want birth control that will last through the next 4 years. People do not want government, especially Donald Trump, making decisions about their bodies or their pregnancies. And no one should be worried about that, but unfortunately the anxiety and fear around this is very real. Abortion is banned in 19 states, restricting access for more than 28 million women, plus trans and non-binary folks, including over half of all Black women in the United States. These abortion bans are dangerous and they are deadly. They not only limit a pregnant person's options, but in many states they have forced doctors to refuse life-saving treatment to patients experiencing complications from a pregnancy or a miscarriage, because in many cases the treatment is abortion. In Georgia and in Texas, Amber Thurman, Candy Miller, and Jocelyn Barnica, all mothers of young children, lost their lives because of their state's abortion bans, which prevented doctors from providing routine, stabilizing health care. as an advocate of reproductive justice and the mother of a 7-month-old baby, these tragedies make me so angry. Do they make you angry?
Yes!
And we should be angry, and we should be outraged, and we must not back down. Woo! No matter what the future holds, patients in Massachusetts and across the country are counting on us to make abortion, gender-affirming care, and other sexual and reproductive health services as accessible as possible. The good news is, in Massachusetts, we are ready. We are already doing this work, and we are ready to do more. We have patient navigators and abortion funds working to help patients overcome hurdles to get to their care at our health centers. We have an abortion legal hotline thanks to our partners at Reproductive Equity Now, and that helps patients understand their rights. We have providers and advocates fighting to make sure we don't lose essential resources if Trump slashes family planning funding, which allows low-income patients to receive preventative testing and services, and that's what he did last time. And we have all of you organizing and using your voices to help ensure Massachusetts remains a leader for reproductive freedom and a safe place to access care. So, we're going to need your energy for the next phase of our fight to support trans and non-binary people and their right to live safely and authentically. To protect patients and providers with strong privacy laws, which our friends at the ACLU are championing. And to further remove barriers to abortion, contraception, and sex education, especially for young people in Massachusetts, so that we can truly be a beacon of freedom for the rest of the country. Are you with us? Thank you. Yes, we are with you. Let me hear you be with Mary Rose again. Thank you. And I would be remiss if I did not mention that Planned Parenthood provided those porta potties today. So thank you to Planned Parenthood. And if you are in line, and you will let me cut in front of you because I need to hold the microphone. So thank you. Thank you, Mary Rose. Up next, we are going to hear from Sarah Gupladala, who serves as the CEO of Legacies of War, the only international US-based advocacy and educational organization working to address the impacts of war, like unexploded bombs and victims' assistance. By unanimous vote, Sarah was elected to serve as the chair of the US campaign to ban landmines and cluster munitions coalition in January 2023. Sarah is the first BIPOC, millennial, and person with lived experience from an impacted country to take on this leadership role. Sarah's work has been featured in CNN, USA Today, Washington Post, NBC, and now on the People's March stage. Let's hear it for Sarah.
Hello, Boston. You all look so beautiful. Thank you so much. It's an honor to share this space with you all. Really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you. If you'll just indulge me for a minute, can I have everyone just look up at this beautiful sky? You can look down now. Now imagine a plane load of bombs dropping every 8 minutes, 24 hours a day, for 9 long years. That was the reality of my birth country of Laos, a country that has been scarred by a secret war that most Americans never knew about. So from 1964 to 1973, the United States secretly dropped 2.5 million tons of bombs during 580,000 bombing mission on Laos, a country that the United States was not at war with, a neutral country during the so-called Vietnam War. 30% of those bombs failed to detonate. That means they're just laying there waiting to be triggered. When I was a little girl, I witnessed my father, who was a surgeon, treat countless victims of these accidents caused by these unexploded bombs. One of them was my 5-year-old classmate, La, born decades after the war. The ongoing dangers of unexploded bombs forced my family and I to flee our birth country of Laos when I was only 6 years old. Now today, my friends, over 50 years later, there's still millions and millions of unexploded bombs lurking beneath the soil, just waiting for a small child or an animal to trigger it. Now, I think you all realize that unfortunately, Laos is not the only country that's contaminated by bombs, by remnants of war. Globally, women and young girls continue to bear some of the heaviest burden of war. Whether it's in Gaza, where something that's so beautiful, childbirth, has become something that is life-threatening risk for women. Or in Sudan, where rape is a constant fear. All too often, women and girls are victims of vicious, senseless, violent acts. Now, change is possible, but that requires all of us to lift our voices. That requires all of us to speak truth into power. So I invite you to visit Legacies of War, our website, and please join us in demanding that our government take responsibility for past damages, especially if the United States is responsible for those wars. Yes. Thank you.
Fuck America! No to war!
Yes.
No war! Fuck America!
And we must also demand that our government stop being complicit in wars and stop being an enabler in more vicious cycles of violence. Yes. And we must also demand that we prioritize peace and the protection of innocent civilians, especially women and young girls. Together, we must demand peace over profit and the vicious cycle of violence. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing that very inspiring story and for being here today to share that with us. Up next, we're going to hear from the co-founder, co-CEO, and head of L&D at Inclusion Geeks. And I'm going to tell you that this person contacted me and said, I need a ride to get there. And this person found their way and made it here to be here with us today. That is like the power of community and togetherness. Felicia Jadzak is with extensive leadership and experience in leadership, innovation, women in the workforce, multiracial identity, and disability. Felicia is a recognized speaker and consultant in the DEI field. Before co-founding Inclusion Geeks, she spent over a decade in the technology industry, advising on ERGs, DEI councils, and executive leadership.
Sorry about that.
Since 2016, she has led the company's DEI programming and felicitation team. Felicia holds a BA in comparative literature from Haverford College and both an MBA and a Master's of Information Systems from Boston University's Questrom School of Business. That's some proud parents right there. Let's welcome Felicia Jadzak to the stage.
Thank you so much. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't start off by saying I appreciate the shout out, but I was not the one who needed the ride. But I don't want to steal anyone else's thunder. There will be another speaker up here who that's her story. But that's not my story. But my story is that, as was mentioned, I lead a DEIB workplace consulting firm that was based here in Boston for many years until COVID. Now, is anyone here, first of all, from Western Massachusetts? Woo! We're here, we're strong, we're mighty, from the Berkshires to Boston. So I live in Western Massachusetts now in the tiny city of East Hampton, which is a city of 16,000 people strong. We are progressive, we are liberal, we are here to fight the fight. I didn't always live in East Hampton, however. I was here in Boston for over 15 years building community. My company called Inclusion Geeks was formerly known as She Geeks Out. Anyone here ever been to a She Geeks Out event? All right, so for anyone who's not familiar, we spent over 10 years building community for women and non-binary individuals and their allies in tech and beyond, hosting community gatherings to help people meet friends, make connections, get jobs, get support. And that work is so critical because, especially in fields like technology, STEM, other industries, we are grossly underrepresented. And that's even more of an issue today, where we have people like Mark Zuckerberg saying that tech companies like Meta need more masculine energy when they're already overrepresented with men. We actually need the opposite. We need more feminine energy, not masculine energy. Because guess what? Masculine energy is what got us here today. We need a new path forward. And that's been my work for the past decade plus, building community to bring people together to think about and craft what could a new path forward look like. Now, I stood here, well, not here on the stage, but I was here on the Common 8 years ago in January 2017 when we came together for a Women's March after the first Trump presidency election. And guess what? There were more people there then, but we're here and we're strong, and this is important because this is a representation of us coming together to exercise our free speech, our right to gather, and our right to stand up for things that we believe in. And it's okay if the government doesn't believe in it, but we believe in it. Now, what I learned at that time, 8 years ago, was that the system is not going to save us. The system is what got us into these troubles. But what will save us are people, community, our friends, our neighbors, all of us here together today. We can help each other. Now, it might look a little different going forward. I had to change my company's name because guess what? A lot of folks don't want to work with a company that has a super feminine name. But you know what? We're still here and we're still doing the work. Now, I come here today and I'm speaking to you not just as a co-founder, a woman in entrepreneurship, a woman in tech and STEM, a short, brown, disabled woman. I'm also speaking to you as the newest elected city councilor in the city of East Hampton. And quite possibly, I don't know 100%, but quite possibly the newest city councilor in the state of Massachusetts. Yeah. And the reason I bring that up is because this is how I am choosing to carry some of my fight forward for the next 4 years. Because guess what? I'm not going to the federal level and changing everything overnight. But what I do have in my own power to impact is my local community. I'm going to be able to be in a position to make change where it really matters on an individual, local level. And each of you can also make change. You don't have to necessarily get into local government, but you can be making change by being here, by showing up for these kinds of rallies and these marches and these protests, because guess what? We learned 8 years ago, they're coming. We have a lot of resistance ahead of us, and I know a lot of us feel tired, we feel defeated, we feel like we already did this, how come we have to do it again? But this is when it's the most critical time to dig in and resist, as I see so many signs in the field here saying, resist. Dissent is patriotic. Now, you can do things on a small scale, on a large scale, but my ask of all of you today is to do something, because even small, minuscule actions will lead to change eventually. The final thing I want to leave you with is there's an amazing singer out of Northampton in Western Massachusetts named Pamela Means, and she said something that really sticks with me, and I want to give it to you all as a gift. She said that when she sings protest songs, they're actually love songs because we fight for what we care about. And this rally is a love song. It is a way for us to fight for what we care about. Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here.
Yes, thank you for first using your voice to correct me. Happy to be wrong when I make a mistake because what I said is about our next friend. But I also want to say how wonderful it was to hear your voice and congratulations to everything that you've done. Let's hear it one more time. Thank you. Okay, now rewind and remember what I said before. That's about this next amazing human. We're bringing up Rada Baird from WPI. She's a narrative designer for video games and a senior in college, blending a passion for storytelling with cutting-edge game design. She currently is working on a turn-based game that delves into the cycles of trauma and explores pathways to healing. With experience as a producer and technical designer, Rada has contributed to the successful launch of 2 shipped and published games. Let's hear the storyteller. Now to the stage, Rada.
So you may have heard that I'm a storyteller, so I'm going to start by telling you a story. This is a story of a young boy named Elijah who grew up with fairy tales, as many of us did. Sometimes he'd read them in books, sometimes he'd see them on screens, but most often he'd hear them from his best friend, his sister. She would weave tales of dragons and ogres and knights, and he'd play the prince, fighting and standing tall in the face of adversity. These stories always ended the same, with the prince saving the princess just in time for their parents to turn off the lights.
Sorry, it's me.
But one day, Elijah's sister was taken away. His parents were scared, but Elijah, strong prince as he was determined to stand tall against whatever dragon it was that was fighting his sister. But Elijah did not find his sister in a tower with chains around her wrists. Instead, she was in a hospital with tubes coming from her arms. Yet she still smiled when she saw him. Elijah begged his sister to tell him how she could help, but she just hugged him, glad to be near him once again. She didn't need her brother to save her. She just wanted him to be there for whatever time she had left. This is the story of my most recent game, Once Upon a. This is Elijah's story, but it is also my story. When I was very young, my sister developed cancer. And, sorry, I wasn't sure what I could do about it. In truth, I couldn't do anything but be there for her. She has since fully recovered, but it was still a very difficult experience. However, this experience was one that made the game so impactful. Of course, if I had a choice, I obviously would not have gone through that. But often in life, with the most difficult things, we don't get a choice. My mental health, for example, I shouldn't choose to have depression or anxiety. The difficult life events, the deaths, the failures, I didn't want any of it, but it happened. So now what? Now that I do get to choose. First off, I choose not to carry it alone. I find great solace and connection with commiserating and encouraging others who've gone through similar things. But there is something beyond that. With each difficulty, I gain a new access to an understanding I did not have before. As a storyteller, I get the unique experience and joy of being able to pass that understanding on to others. Sometimes it can be something small, like highlighting a character with dysthymia, or sometimes it can take center stage, like a group of trauma survivors fighting to fight the cycles of trauma. Each time I make sure to weave these character struggles into their lives and the living world around them. Their struggles do not define them, but are challenges they can fight and find ways to live with and through. Through these stories, I want people to feel seen, to be able to empathize with and understand the characters, and hopefully to find love in themselves as they have the characters on their screens. I have found that deep human connection comes from shared experiences. When things are hard, rather than letting them wash over us or define us, we can choose to utilize them as points of connection. I urge you, don't hold on to these negative things in your head. Don't hold on to the lie that you're not good enough. You have a choice, Accept the parts of you that are hurt and flawed and share them with others. You are not alone. It is only through sharing and exploring our hardships that we can grow stronger together.
Thank you so much, Rada, for sharing that story with us. I know when I'm with my three littles telling them stories at bedtime, I'm going to think of you and your sister and both of your strength. Thank you. Up next, we are going to be hearing from a Boston City Council member. We're going to hear from Sharon Durkin, who has lived in Beacon Hill for over 8 years, sharing the challenges of her District 8 neighbors. Raised by working-class parents in rural Georgia, she was inspired by her community support during her family's struggles with mental illness and substance abuse, instilling a lifelong commitment to building strong, vibrant communities. Let's hear it for Sharon.
Thank you so much. How's everybody doing? Is everybody good? So I felt mixed reactions when I got invited here today, and that's because I was here marching with you in 2016, and I was the chair at the time of my local ward committee, the Ward 5 Dems. I know they're out here today, and I was a local organizer, and honestly, that time radicalized me. I never would have run for office if I hadn't been here 8 years ago. And I'm looking around, and I see constituents, I see people from across the state, and I understand where you're coming from because I am you. I woke up this morning with something in my stomach. It didn't feel right, and it's not gonna feel right for the next few years. It's not going to feel right. But my ask for you, as I look around, do not give up, do not despair, do not back down. So recently, I was on the council floor, and a colleague brought something to the floor around supporting those who have experienced domestic violence and sexual violence. And I got up and shared my own personal experience about being drugged when I was young in Boston. And because so many times in government, we hear people talk about issues that we've experienced ourselves, and they talk about them in a sanitized way. They talk about them like we haven't all experienced this, like we haven't all had moments where someone has taken away our power and never given it back. And I'm looking at every single one of you today because I was hopeful. I was a delegate to the Democratic National Convention. I was there with so many of my leaders in government. I was there with so many people that I admire. And we were hopeful about what could have been on Monday. And I want you to channel that feeling that you felt during that time when we felt like we were going to have a person that we could trust, we were going to have a person that we could admire, and we were going to do the work that should be done and that trust that should be built. I want you to channel all of that hope that you felt, and I want you to channel all of that despair that you felt into action. And this is not easy. I'm looking around and I see leaders from across the state who, we need you to multiply yourself. We need you to grab your neighbor and say, stop tweeting, get off Blue Sky, and get to the fucking streets. Because I know this week I proposed something really, I don't want to get into it, but I proposed something that was all over the news. And I got 250 tweets saying I was too fat to do my job.
Fuck them.
And I want to tell all of you is like I converted my pussy hat for a pussy coat.
Yeah! Woo!
And I'm not going to back down, and neither should you. And I need you to promise me now that you are going to multiply yourself, that you are going to stand in the gap when Homeland Security is at your local school, trying to deport your neighbor. I need you to put your body on the line when you need to. I need you to actually show up. This is awesome. This is great. And honestly, we need this moment of community. We need this moment of coming together. But what I need you to do is when it counts, when something doesn't feel right, when there's a housing development in your neighborhood and the people that are going to live there look much different from you, I need you to send that support letter. I need you to show up at that meeting. And I need you to open the doors for people that are not like us. Because this moment requires it. This moment demands it. And this moment that we're in, it's temporary. But who you are during this moment will define you and your communities for the rest of your life. I love you. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. And again, I'm Sharon Durkin. Please send me an email and let's do this. And I don't like the term resistance anymore.
The mic for a logistic. My friend Maddie, will you please come and meet us over here at the sound station? We're going to hear from Treyandre Valentine and Kelsey Grunstra from the MA Massachusetts Transgender Political Coalition. Woo! Treyandre is the first BIPOC executive director of the Massachusetts Transgender Political Coalition, the oldest active transgender advocacy organization in the U.S. Treyandre leads efforts to create systematic change and uplift trans and non-binary communities. And Kelsey is a facilitator with Resource Organizing Project and member of the Boston LGBTQ History Project's Friends of their advisory board. And Kelsey is passionate about LGBT history, traditional foodways, and storytelling. Again, it's all about stories. Let's bring these two powerful humans to the stage, please.
Hello, we're so glad to be with you all here today. Thank you to the organizers for inviting us to speak and share with you. As she said, Treyandre and I represent MTPC, and we are here to speak jointly today to share a message of hope, compassion, optimism, and unity. We're here to share our vision for a thriving trans future with you all. It is clear that the reason we are all here today is because that we are opposed to the plans, goals, and so-called values of the incoming government. That we believe they do not appropriately represent the society that we live in and the world as we would like to see it. We're also here because we feel the need to fight back and make a difference and to be a part of the change. But we cannot just respond and act out of fear and despair. It is one thing to express our discontent, but it is another entirely to take action. We are here to urge you to join us in a different form of resistance that is rooted in hope and in building towards a new future. Over the past 2 years, we have seen people coming together in community and action in more ways than we have seen in a long time. People coming together against war, genocide, and apartheid, against corporate greed and worker exploitation. We have not been coming together just because we want to see terrible things end, but because we know that we can do better. If we're going to make progress over the next year, the next 4 years, and even the next decade, we cannot focus on those who oppose us. We must recenter and focus on how we want to reshape the world. We must pull our motivation from a well of hope and not a well of fear. If we center those who oppose us in our movements, then we have lost track of what we are fighting for.
Thank you, Kelsey. History has shown that those who lead with fear are not on the right side of it. The government and colonizers may try to erase me, they may politicize and demonize and criminalize me. They may even take away my rights. But they will never have my joy or my hope or my dreams for a future where trans people, our precious and courageous trans youth, and our trans elders are living and thriving vibrantly. From the intersections of our anger and our pain, may we sprout the fountain of empathy and love and tenacity to mobilize ourselves towards collective liberation. It is okay to feel what we're feeling, to feel our anger and fear and sadness and frustration. But do not let that fester, because we are going to need all of us together, not just to survive the next 4 years, but to create, to plan, to strategize, and resource the future that we believe in. In this moment, I dare us and encourage us to dream bigger than we have ever dreamed. If we can dream it, we can build it. And if we can build it, we can change it. So, when I say dream it, you say build it. Dream it! Dream it! When I say build it, you say change it. Build it! Build it! Now let's get to work!
Sorry, no gimbal.
Thank you for getting that energy up. That was so magical. Thank you both for being on this stage. Important announcement. Do we have a Thomas Roberts? If we have a Thomas Roberts, we please need you to join us over here at the sound stage. Thomas Roberts. Thank you.
Right.
Up next,
There
we have Robertson. Thomas Robertson. Thomas Robertson, come and join us here at the sound stage. We have a friend waiting for you. Thank you. Up next is our intermission, and I hope you're all ready to get down and get warm in our bodies. We are going to dance together and move our feet. We also have a lost phone. Y'all, if you are missing your phone, come into the sound stage right now. Is it mine? No. Okay, we're good. But we are going to have an intermission so we can all dance and move together. This is not the end, though. After we hear from this amazing music, we're going to come back to some more powerful and important speakers. So this is just our chance to move and groove. Let's get this ad hoc group of a dozen musicians, ba-bam, who come together and play music for activism. Let's hear for ba-bam!
had this lady before. This is her first time ever recorded her. That's a lot of people.
One, two, clear the light. 1, 2, 3. That's that ticket. Get ready to do that ticket.
3, 4.
All right, let's keep that energy moving and flowing with this next group of speakers because that was incredible. One more time, let's all hear from Babao. Woo, I am feeling good, I am warm, and I'm feeling so happy. I've had a few people come up to me and want to share their voice too and ask me to say some things on the microphone. Get out your phone, text a friend, and tell them to come down here because they are missing out on this amazing event. Everyone tell a friend. Let's double this crowd right now. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't thank all friends, all of the allies, all of the men, women, all of those in between, anyone who identifies as anyone, all of the allies that are here, people that are here for climate change, people that are here for all of the other things that are important. Thank you. All right? That was also a request from a friend in the audience. Up next, this person I have had the pleasure of being on Zoom meetings with, and their energy is so fierce. They're going to keep that BAM energy going. Let's bring up Boston City Council member Julia Mejia. At large, Julia is a dedicated community advocate and chair of the Committee of Government Accountability, Transparency, and Accessibility. Raised by a single, undocumented mother, Councilor Mejia became the first Afro-Latina elected. About us, without us is for us. Us is for us. Listen, every single day people are making decisions about us, without us. And now more than ever, we need to organize and amplify and not just ask for a seat at the table, but dictate what that menu looks like. Don't just let somebody invite you to the table and set terms and conditions. Don't be invited to dinner and stay in that kitchen. No, occupy space. We belong in all means all spaces and places. Listen. My mom was undocumented while I was growing up here in the city of Boston. And I came to the city of Boston at the height of the busing era. And I was told to go back to where I came from. That's right. Having gone through that trauma, because that's what it is, right? In 2016, when this happened to us, y'all remember what happened in 2016, right? My daughter was 6 years old. And I was afraid to wake her up the next morning. Because even though she was 6, she had been paying attention to the election. And when I woke her up, the first thing she asked me, after I told her who won, she asked me if we were going to have to leave. Now, mind you, I became a U.S. citizen through the naturalization process. My mother was undocumented and became a U.S. citizen. My daughter is the first to be born in this country. But it broke my heart that at 6 years old, her biggest concern was whether or not we were going to have to leave this country. And we know that now they're taking it up a notch. And we're all at risk. But I'm going to tell you this. We are not hopeless. We are not helpless. And hell no, we won't go. We need to recognize that this is our moment to see each other, to work with one another across our differences, and recognize that this is our moment. We cannot lead with hate. We cannot allow anyone to divide and conquer. And we need to recognize that at the end of the day, they can lock us up, they can tear us down, but they can't take away our hope,
They can't take away our faith. They can't take away our dignity. And they can't take our ability to fight. This is happening all across the country. This is our moment to recognize and uplift and organize. We have to organize. All right? So I'll leave you with this, because if y'all not following me, y'all are missing a lot of the spice. I became the first Afro-Latina on the elected at the Boston City Council.
Yeah!
They did not know what to do with me in every single election. I have to fight to keep that seat because this is the people's seat that I held. So, listen, for all of y'all who are here, never leave yourself at the door to make anyone else feel comfortable. Never water yourself down so you could be digestible, because if they don't like you, let them choke, period.
Yeah!
Now let's keep on keeping on. Thank you for showing up and showing out, because this is what it looks like. All of us working together across our differences. City Council at Large, Julia Mejia. Julia for Boston. If you want more of this, follow me on Instagram. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia, for bringing that fire to us today. Please, let's hear it again for Julia. Counselor at Large. That spice and that fire. I have someone so important and wonderful joining us at the stage, two people together. Let's hear it for these amazing humans. Amy Brenneman is an actor and producer best known for judging Amy, Private Practice, The Leftovers, and The Old Man. Amy serves on the Creative Council of the Center for Reproductive Rights and was part of the amicus brief for the 2016 SCOTUS case, Whole Women's versus, Hellerstedt, thank you. We won that one. Amy will be joined on stage by her husband, filmmaker Brad Silberling, and daughter, Charlotte Silberling. Let's hear for this fierce family.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Oh my God, you look so beautiful. I'm here with my husband Brad Silberling and my daughter Charlotte Silberling, and right? It's good to be off that shit. It's like we're all. I'm gonna lead with some jokes. It's like we're all having to deal with our crazy exes, right, from back in the day. You know, the ones who demanded our attention like all the time, and the ones who promised all sorts of things to get us back. You know, like the price of eggs and cuts from the budget, and then wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. You know, Renee got it all. You know, sorry, babe, it's just hard to bring the prices down. The exes who don't like fact-checking because they can't stop lying. It's exhausting, and that's why in the words of Brother Hakeem Jeffries, bro, we already broke up with you. I mean, most of us here never dated them in the first place, you know? All right. Yeah, and how delusional is our president-elect says that he's winning by the smallest margin in history. He calls that a mandate. But then again, he's always lied about his small things. All right, enough about them. We're not going to talk about them. Let's talk about us. Let's talk about all of us. So, we bring you tidings from the great state of California, where my family has lived for the past 30 years. Our house is not gone, and our loved ones are safe, but nevertheless, our hearts are broken. We, as a city, are forever transformed. We Angelinos are now on the leading edge of climate crisis, just as hurricane-whipped Floridians were last fall, and flooded Asheville, North Carolinians were earlier this year, in the way that all of us will be at one point if we haven't been already. And it's every bit as tragic as you can imagine, but that's not what I want to talk about. Okay, what the oligarchs who control the disinformation machine, by the way, go to factcheck.org, because Meta's not doing it anymore, but factcheck.org is awesome. What they don't want you to know, and they don't want to highlight, is the enormous collective upswell in care, sharing of resources, uplifting of those in need. So as the wind whipped wildly and the sparks flew, all of us were in danger. There was no us and them. There was only us. We communicated, we raised money, we lent a hand. Mexican firefighters, Canadian, South African incarcerated firefighters all threw themselves in harm's way for our collective well-being. And against this backdrop, the president-elect chided and threatened and politicized our desperate cry for help. And now he wants to withhold federal aid until California bends the knee. It's not going to happen. Everything is transactional and nothing is for the common good. But here's the deal. We want to care for one another, and given the chance, we do. Around you, like, take a look, because they're going to care for you and you are going to care for them. What we do here in real life. So I read an amazing quote which said, "We live in a society that loves feel-good stories about people coming together to help members of their community in need, but scoffs at the idea of building a system based on that very same concept." So let's build a system that looks like Los Angeles last week. Okay, maybe not the terrifying fire part, but maybe the caring for one another part. So let's link arms to push back against the cruel, predatory, reactionary, depraved lawlessness of President Musk and the oligarchs. And let's help one another wake up from, as we are doing today, from the current nightmare of supremacy and fulfill together this beautiful place of equity and justice. And thank you all to the community builders out there and the people in my community that lead the way. And thank you to my friends and families. And thank you, Boston. Let's do this!
Yeah! I know I'm a terrible yeller.
Thank you again for that fire. Speaking of fire, I'm so happy you brought that up. As a California girl born and raised, I'm sending love to that entire community in Los Angeles. I see several signs out there. One that was like climate change, LA fires. Thank you so much for bringing that up, and a very important thing for all of us to think about. I have two pieces that were passed on to me I'd love to share with you all, because this is an actionable item that you can do. If you know anyone in a state with a Republican senator, please call them and ask them to call their senators and ask the senator to vote against the worst of Trump's cabinet nominations. Please vote no on Tulsi Gabbard for intelligence. No! You're not putting me right. I mean, come on.
No.
I'm teasing. That's an important actionable item that we can do. We can take that out to our community in those other places. Also, there will be a march Monday at 3 p.m. at the federal building. So I wanted to pass on those two pieces of information before I invite someone very important to the stage. Patty Nolan. Patty is from the Cambridge City Council and serving her third term on the Cambridge City Council after previously serving on the Cambridge School Committee. Her early feminist efforts include high school pay equity to college thesis in women's studies to current council work uplifting women. Patty is passionate about addressing the climate crisis, fostering community, and ensuring accountability in government. Let's hear for Patty.
Thanks. Well, I'm really glad I didn't go right after Julia Mejia and her call. So, someone asked me, why are you even going? Why are we here? Because those who would and are already taking away our rights want nothing more than for us to give up, to stay home, to be burnt out. And
right.
to that we say,
No!
we are here to remind ourselves, as all the speakers before have said, we are not powerless. We are powerful. You are not powerless. You are powerful. And we're pissed.
That's right.
After that election and all of our collective work, right, among us, millions of hours, postcards, door knocking, more. I was in Arizona for a week knocking doors. I wondered, like all of us, how can we have hope in light of the election results? How can we not have hope when those of us did those millions of hours? And as always happens, no matter how dark and despair, I always find some women's wisdom in words and example, like Margaret Mead. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed individuals can change the world. In fact, it's the only thing that ever has. And speaking of, what are we called? Snowflakes? Often our concerns are derided. We're characterized as snowflakes. Guess what? The diversity of snowflakes is astonishing. Not a single one is alike. And there is nothing more powerful than a bunch of snowflakes getting together towards a single purpose and creating an avalanche which can literally reshape mountains. So let's go, snowflakes! The message today is that it's important, in fact crucial, to be vigilant, speak up and speak out. We must not be silent or hide away or be discouraged. When we act, we empower ourselves and others and gain energy.
Today, so.
And we must never forget that central and fundamental to women's equality is the control of our own bodies.
Right.
And here in Massachusetts, we have an astonishing 5 of our 6 statewide elected leaders at the state level are women. We have a phenomenal opportunity. And yet, even in Massachusetts, there are many who would deny fundamental rights. The existence of crisis pregnancy centers, there's anti-choice bullying around, even in Cambridge, not exactly one place where you'd think people would ever take issue with women's rights. We had people supporting crisis pregnancy centers, which lie to women about their choices. Yeah, but we fought back against their deceptive practices and passed legislation to ensure that they had to tell the truth about their work or they could not operate. They cannot disempower, bully, and confuse women into deciding something else instead of whatever they want to do with their pregnancies and their bodies. And Massachusetts, right, super progressive state, we have work to do here. We are one of the lowest states in the whole country in terms of midwife-centered birth centers. That has to change too. We need to let the powers that be in this state know that midwife and women-centered care is a fundamental right and we should have more of them, not less of them, in this state. And I want to remind us all, we can take heart and hope from the fact that our ancestors had even more challenges and obstacles and oppression. Many were enslaved, denied all rights, violently suppressed. And they prevailed, they persisted, they did not surrender. Every single right has been won through demanding it and fighting for it, not asking for it. Many of the shoulders on which we stand have local connections. There's hundreds. Abolitionists, suffragists, Sarah and Angelina Grimke, Shiro Harriet Jacobs, who fought against her own slavery, to countless who fought for suffrage, civil rights, LGBTQIA plus rights. And our ancestors recognized that issues are linked. Women's equality and freedom are inextricably linked with rights for all, with economic rights. It's not just our bodies. Marilyn Jocelyn Gage, another one, in the 1800s, is not only an abolitionist, she fought for suffrage, and she then recognized Native American rights were also non-negotiable. That embracing of a holistic approach to equality and freedom is key. We must stand united or we will see our rights eroded. We must recognize that one issue does not stand alone. For our very survival, we must recognize the interconnectedness of issues. Reproductive rights are essential, economic fairness is essential, a livable planet is essential, human rights for all are essential, and voting rights, we need to exercise them. So we must live the central premise of the call we hear at rallies and marches. The people united will never be defeated. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. It's never been truer. So let's be together in this incredibly diverse, wonderful Massachusetts, and let's be an avalanche of action. Let's go, snowflakes!
Let's go. Let's go. I have a request, and today is also about apologizing when a mistake has been made. If we have someone in our community here who is a professional ASL interpreter, I would request that you can come and be at the front of the stage and help. And this is, again, a request and something I hope for future is a part of the planning. But thank you to all, and apologies to any who have been unable to be a part of this. We are here for you all, and you're a part of today as well. Next, I would love to bring to the stage Whitney Shanahan from the Pro-Choice podcast. Whitney, the daughter of a preschool teacher who was raised with a deep commitment to community service and activism. A proud product of public schools, she has led hundreds of pro-choice rallies nationwide and launched a petition with over 270,000 signatures to defend abortion rights. With a TikTok following of over 500,000, including pro-choice celebrities like Rosie O'Donnell, Whitney advocates for equal opportunity and amplifies voices for those who need it most, regardless of gender, race, or religion. Please welcome Whitney to the stage.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me here today. Again, my name is Whitney Shanahan, and this is my story. In 2019, I found myself pregnant and in a red state. I started having pregnancy complications and I went to the ER. Instead of being helped, I was questioned. I was separated from my partner and I was questioned about what I had done to cause it. Because at that time, the red state that I was in was working on passing a 6-week, quote unquote, heartbeat abortion ban. 6 weeks is before most people even know they are pregnant. And a 6-week ban not only criminalizes abortion, it criminalizes miscarriage. I went home from the ER that day, still bleeding, leaking fluids, scared, shaking. I researched online, has any other woman been questioned about their miscarriage or criminalized for their miscarriage? And I found research from UC Berkeley Law that hundreds of women in this country have been arrested, detained, and investigated for their pregnancies, their miscarriages, and pregnancy losses. And this was while Roe v. Wade was in place. In that moment, my life changed forever. I called a few of my friends, some pregnant, some not. We grabbed red lipstick, we put on our sports bras, and we wrote on our bare stomachs, pro-choice, and we stood in front of the State House to show everyone that we are pro-choice. That we are pro-choice and we are mothers. Most people who get abortions are mothers. And the videos and the protests and the photos of that went incredibly viral. Thanks to a lot of hateful comments, but even more overwhelming support. Because the majority of people in this country are pro-choice, do want access to abortion nationwide. And so after that very first protest, I had no idea what would happen. And it was just a few of us, under 10 people, but the impact of it was huge. And from that, I started the organization Pro-Choice with Heart, and we've held hundreds of protests nationwide to defend Roe v. Wade, back when we were still trying to defend it. I've also launched a petition, which if you haven't signed, please sign. It has over 270,000 signatures to defend abortion rights. And when we get to 1 million, we're taking it to DC. And if anybody is a podcast listener, I've got the Pro-Choice podcast, which I implore you to listen to, and I implore you to start your own activism and to speak up in your community and online for women's rights. And there are so many people today. When I look around, there are thousands of people here, and my very first protest, like I said, had just 6 people, and it all matters. It all is important. But I will say, as someone that has been doing abortion rights activism every single day for the past 6 years, in a world where we don't have clean water, where we don't have clean air, and where our home, our earth, is dying, abortion rights won't matter. Right now, we are in a climate crisis, and I implore you, as feminists, as people that care about this earth, as people that care, please speak up for our climate, for our environment, for our home, Mother Earth. So I just want to say today, fuck the patriarchy and protect Mother Earth.
Thank you for coming and speaking with us today. Up next, we have Ed Shoemaker, and I'd like to say, if you visit the table for voter reg of Mass over there, they were a very big supporter of this event, and we are so grateful to them. So please go and visit their booth. There's so many other booths here of big supporters. Let's please bring Ed Shoemaker to the stage. Maybe, oh, there you are. Welcome, Ed, everyone.
Thank you. Hello, how's everybody doing? All right. So I'm Ed Shoemaker, Executive Director of Voter Choice Massachusetts and Ranked Choice Boston. Our table is right over there. If you haven't had a chance to sign our petition, please come on over. Democracy is not a spectator sport. It thrives when we engage, when we demand better, and when we fight for a system that truly reflects the will of the people. Yeah. Right now, too many elections are determined by a minority, leaving countless voices unheard. That's not a democracy. It's a broken system. But we have the power to fix it. Ranked choice voting ensures that every vote counts and that those elected are truly representing the majority of the people. Yeah. It lets us vote with our values, not out of fear. And it opens the door for diverse voices and new ideas to thrive. We can't sit back while polarization, voter suppression, and big money drown out our voices. We must act, get engaged, get enraged. But above all, make that engagement meaningful. Join us in the fight for ranked choice voting, a system where majority truly rules, where democracy belongs to all of us. Together, we can reclaim it, and together, we will win. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your support. Up next, we're going to hear from 2 very important people, and one of the reasons they're important is because we are standing here today because of them. Boston knew that it wanted a march. Boston knew that it needed a rally, and the NEIC, the New England Independence Campaign, stepped up and said, yes, we will help this happen. We don't know how, but we will figure this out, and we are all here thanks to them. So first of all, let's hear for the NEIC today. Thank you for stepping up and figuring it all out so we could be here together. First, we're going to hear from Justin Meyer. Where are you? I said it right. Justin Meyer. Let's hear for Justin.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all having a great time so far. I've come to talk to you about things I have noticed over the past 3 months and what the best course of action for the future will be. Because over the past 3 months, many people in the United States have shown who they really are. They have thoroughly rejected equality and improvement and have instead embraced hate and ignorance. They elected a wealthy criminal who will raise prices with tariffs, deport immigrants regardless of their legality or citizenship, and is currently threatening countries that are supposed to be our allies. Of course, the win comes as soon as I get up to speak. They elected a party that will take away women's medical autonomy, depower the unions that improve quality of life, and do all that they can to make life even harder for minority groups. And we will not let them.
No.
Voters had the chance to reject and remove the grifters, to be done with them. They were well known. There was no outsider factor. Their inability to govern, their corruption, and their crimes were well on display, but they chose instead to embrace hate and lunacy. And at this time, when we see the kind of division present in the country, it is important for Boston, for Massachusetts, and for New England to stand together and help each other now more than ever. We are a sensible people who help those in need and let people live as they want, and now is the time to demonstrate it. Thank you. If the incoming administration dismantles the federal government like they say they will, then we need our own alternatives to the services they provide. Education, regulations for the environment and the market, veteran benefits, public health, internal revenue, even postal if needed. Now is the time to ask our elected officials to make these preparations. It is a long and difficult road ahead of us, and that's why it is important to begin now. The 6 states of New England and whoever else wish to join need to create our own groups ready to help each other when the federal government refuses to, just like they did the first time with COVID aid and disaster relief, just like they are doing right now, denying aid to California for the supposed atrocity of having different politics. If the feds choose to line the pockets of billionaires instead of serving the people like they should, then it is up to the states to fill that role. We must also be prepared to resist the unjust and unconstitutional laws that they will try to pass. We have done so before with the Fugitive Slave Act, and we will do so again when they send their abortion hunters and their deportation SS squads. If they try to pass laws that dictate how people live their lives, then they must be ignored. If a law is unjust, then a person is not only right to disobey it, they are obligated to do so. And that point is even more important. Thank you so much. And at this point, it is even more important for New England to stand together. With the 6 of us and whoever else, we can support each other and we will weather the storm. I hope everything you have heard today from me and all the other speakers has resonated with you. I ask you to please call and email your representatives, your senators, your governors, and let them know this is the right course of action. Tell them we need alternatives for services provided by soon-to-be the dysfunctional federal government, and tell them we must nullify unjust laws because we must take our future into our own hands, and we must stand together to fight for our rights. Thank you.
All right, let's hear for Justin. Justin is the secretary for NEIC, and up next we are bringing a fierce human who led so many meetings and emails and phone calls and texts to get everyone here today. Let's hear it for the treasurer of the NEIC, Maddie Lee.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Boston! I am from New England, and I am proud to be from New England. Like so many of you, I woke up on November 6th last year confused and dismayed. America chose Donald Trump not once, but twice.
Boo!
This time with the popular vote.
Boo!
I am thankful that no New England state turned red either time. However, if the Americans could betray us and force their regime on us without our consent, then America is not our country, and the Americans are not our people. It is an honor to stand here today among so many like-minded, strong, fierce New Englanders who are ready to make their voices heard. We are gathered here in the spirit of justice, equity, and self-determination, principles that should be at the foundation of our nation, yet are out of reach for many. Today, we rally for the rights of women, the rights of our communities, and for a brighter future. The U.S. regime wants to end reproductive rights. In recent years, we've seen religious extremist politicians take away our rights to our bodies.
Boo!
Let me be clear, reproductive rights are human rights. The New England Independence Campaign fights on the front lines, defending our freedom to choose and to advocate for policies that protect abortion, sex education, contraceptives, and STD testing. Our ability to decide our own reproductive health is central to our dignity. We have a long history of progress and achievement in New England, so let's take a moment to celebrate our unique spirit. We are a nation that values equality, justice, and self-determination. Vermont was the first state to ban slavery. Massachusetts was the first state to legalize gay marriage.
Yeah!
And although we have made so much progress, we have so much further to go. Racism, misogyny, homophobia, transphobia, and elitism still exist in New England, fanned by the flames of the U.S. government and media. The New England Independence Campaign reminds us that we each have the power to shape our future. We will go to all corners of New England and plant gardens and orchards to the horizons. We will use our own tax money to fix old roads and bridges. We will invest in renewable energy, healthcare, STEM education, and affordable housing. There will be no more empires, no more dictators, no more theocrats, and no more oligarchs. When there is no more killing or maiming or torture or execution, no more foreign wars, no more corporate welfare, no patriarchy, no racism, no elitism, no more hunger, no more suffering, then what life brings us for being born and having to die, we will see for the first time who we really are. I am from New England, and I am proud to be from New England. Thank you, Boston.
And thank you, Maddie, for all you have done to make today special and powerful for each and every one of us. And you know what, y'all? It takes a village. I just met a new friend, a new village member, Mary, who's close to 70 and here with her family, holding a sign that her 8-year-old daughter made for her today. I met so many friends, and I want to introduce you all to my village that's here. They've been standing in the front the whole time. I have Mackenzie, I have Cass, I have Emma, I have Lori, I have Jay, I have Kate, and I have Francis. And in my head, I have rolling over and over again the words of Broadway lyricist Shayna Taub from the musical Suffs. We're repeating itself. The women's suffragette movement. I want my mother to know that I was here. Hi, Mom. We're recording. I want my sisters to know, my drag sisters. I want my children, Wesley, Winifred, and Watson, to know that I was here for them. And we are here for all of them. I know this is the closest that I'm ever going to get to my Oscar or my Tony, but I feel so grateful to have led this group of fierce humans today. Because I am Poppy DeBubbly, the chapter director of Drag Story Hour, I'm going to take a moment to have a storytelling moment with you all. This book, the Pronoun Book, asks a very important question on the first page. We're going to have a storytelling moment. How do you know what someone wants to be called? Do you know the answer? Ask. Ask. Ask questions. Let's say it together. Ask.
Ask.
Thank you. We need to listen deeply and then take action. Asking isn't just about names or pronouns. It's about respecting the humanity of others. It's how we break cycles of ignorance and build bridges. It's how we spark change, whether in a bedtime story, a boardroom, or a ballot box. When we ask, we activate. When we activate, we uplift. And when we uplift, we rewrite the narrative of what's possible. So I challenge each of you to leave here today and ask. Ask yourself what more you can do. Ask someone their story. Ask a stranger how you can stand in solidarity. Because activism isn't just a series of grand gestures. It's the small, deliberate choices that we make every day. Thank you all for letting me be a part of this journey with you. Keep asking. Keep activating. And let's keep building a world where everyone's story is seen, heard, and celebrated. I just realized we're recording, and I didn't say thank you to Chris, my love, my partner, who is with me, not here physically, but every day by my side. Today, we are going to go out there and be the unstoppable force that I know each and every one of you can be. We do not have permits for a march. So I am going to walk around the commons. And I hope that each of you will walk around the commons with me, safely and respectively. And I hope that Babam might feel like playing a little ditty while we walk together. Thank you. We have several booths here. We have Planned Parenthood, NEIC. We have many other important booths here today. Red Choice Voting. Thank you. Visit the booths, walk with me, and let's make change happen. Let's be the change. And thank you all. We are a village.
Yeah!
Oh my God, wait, stop, everyone. I need a selfie with all of you. That is my gift from this day. Everyone. You are some beautiful humans. Yes. Yes. Let's walk. Hey, everyone, let's go for a walk.
I don't want to pee.
Sorry, balance issues. I need to know that too.
On! Which way do you want to go in general?
You guys have to lead the march. These
Yeah.
guys are going to decide. But you're going to lead the march. So I think
I'm really good at that.
yes.
I'm freakishly good at it, actually. I think people will probably end up following me at the end.
Yeah, we're going to follow you.
So we should be following you or whoever you want.
Yeah. Okay, good. Got that sorted. Are we following the tuba? What are we doing? Okay.
Sorry.
Tell us. Hey, Julie. Here we go. Here we go. That's what we need to drop there. You just got to pick the space.
We're doing it for a while.
I can wait here for them. You guys stay right here. I'm just going to backtrack. You do? Yeah, I always feel like we're going to work this out. Yeah. That's the best story, but don't worry.
People who believe in democracy. We may not agree about everything, but we don't have to. That's what democracy is about. Sorry about the gimbal today. Billionaires have got to go. Ho ho, billionaires have got to go. Are you listening, Elon? We don't like you. And Seneca, you're not the only fucking American. My Zoom's annoying the shit out of me today. There. More people. I'm going this way because I have a hard time on the uneven ground. We'll kind of zoom in towards the front too. Long walk. Since we don't have a permit to march, we're just taking a walk. Alright, sorry about the shaky, I forgot my gimbal. The important thing is just to see what's going on. That guy's t-shirt. I'm trying to get certain times, but then I can't walk. Lock him up! Sorry about the view.
Lock him up!
Lock him up!
Lock him up! Lock him up! It looks like the JP might not be more apart. We had our yellow vest and we were part of the water.
Stand up, fight back!
It's 2 minutes long, so obviously we have to just...
There's the ice skating rink.
USA! No Trump! No KKK! No fascist USA!
about the shaking, no gimbal today. So we're handheld. I'll try to use some AI to stabilize it later before I do some of the video, but sorry. Thousands of people standing up for freedom and democracy. It's not good. Yeah.
Fuck Donald Trump! Fuck Donald Trump!
Stand up, fight back. When climate is under attack, what do you do? Stand up, fight back.
Sorry if my fingers are in the way.
Her choice. Her body, her choice. Her body, her choice.
Alright guys, I think it's time for this to end. I hope to see you next time. If I can operate my phone in the dark.